Welcome back to Across the Board with Khalid Gray. This is an extension of Panther Sports Zone, but today I have a lot more friends with me this episode that want to act like they don't know how to talk sports for real, but I'll let them introduce themselves.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jared Robinson. I'm usually behind the camera, but Khalid has convinced me to be in front of the camera today.
Yeah, my name is Joshua Fontenot. Same with Jerry. I was behind the camera, but first time, being on camera, I just want to get the experience, and so glad to be here.
And I'm Taneal Coleman, and this is my first show.
Word.
Also behind the camera.
Okay.
As you can tell, we're all camera people.
Yeah.
But they know their sport for real. We were just having a conversation about the Heisman conversation, and she had a different opinion. She had a different opinion about how I personally believe running back Genty, I can't remember his whole name, but she believes that his conference is the weaker conference and that you believe yours should be the winner of the Heisman Trophy. I have my opinion. I believe Travis Hunter needs it. And Josh, you never really explicitly said your opinion, but who do you believe deserves that Heisman Trophy this year?
By far, I'm gonna be biased. Like Travis Hunter, like that's history, right? Like he's the first player to ever play defense and offense.
At this level, I don't think he's the first. I wouldn't say he's the first, but at that level that needs to be recognized, definitely.
But he's absolutely being carried by Sanders' passing game. I mean, you can sure for say that Travis Hunter is a great offensive threat and a great defensive threat, but when he has a quarterback like that, his numbers are almost completely overinflated.
I get you. And you mentioned something about Genty. I know I enjoy seeing a running back just splice the defense like that, but you had an opinion that I think you should vocalize for everybody, so we're all on even grounds about these four players.
I feel like Genty, he's a great running back.
Oh, no doubt.
But he has a very weak conference. Because I feel like his play could transfer over if he went to like a stronger conference like the ACC, the Big 12, something like that. But because he's in, what is it, the Mountain West?
Something like that.
Midwest, yep.
Something like that.
Their defense
Midwest
isn't
Conference
on that level.
Yeah.
It's approaching FCS level of football.
Oh, and we promise.
But we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that one.
Today.
But and I have a question for you kind of just leading into that. Do you believe he could survive in the SEC? If he was to go to the SEC? Or y'all think all of them over there ain't gonna let that fly?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, I don't think that Ashton Genty really has a potential in the SEC at all. I mean, I think if he did transfer into the SEC, he absolutely could, but I don't think he'd be putting up numbers like Travis Hunter or any of the other running backs or just offensive threats in general in the SEC, Big 12, Big 10 at all. I don't think that. I mean, you take him out of that conference. It's like taking an FCS player out of this conference and throwing him into the SEC and asking them to perform well. Sure, if they have a great quarterback like Sanders or something like that, you're going to have a Travis Hunter story. But really who we need to be talking about is Quinn Ewers, the number one quarterback in the nation right now. ESPN Power Ranking has UT on top right now. So really all we have right now is a bye week, so we don't get to see our boy bless the field once again. But really that's where the conversation for the Heisman Trophy winner pick.
And I feel you on that, but at the same time, this is the same boy that got outplayed by one of the Manning conglomerates. And actually, when you saw Manning play, he stepped up in some pretty big shoes.
I mean, but he was injured though, and really all that shows to me is that a great quarterback can take a step back and then also come back in and carry his team once again. That shows consistency. That shows leadership. Man, so if you are taking a step back, you're going to miss 2 games and then you're going to come back in and then you're going to go on a winning streak. Sure, they might have lost to Georgia a week back, but Georgia has the number 1 defense in the league. They have the number 1 pass rushing in the league. So really, any quarterback, Sanders, let's talk about Sanders. If we put Sanders against Georgia's defense, him and Travis Hunter are out of the water all of a sudden.
Do y'all have the same feeling about this too? Explain.
Okay, so you see Colorado, they had an okay team, but they were going against like bigger schools in the Pac-12. But now that they're in the Big 12, they can dominate that. And they have a more experienced team now. So they definitely would not survive the SEC.
Okay, well, I think we were talking about like I guess slimming down our options for the Heisman Trophy, and I think 2 players that since we just had this brief conversation that needs to be removed is Ashton Genty and Sanders. I feel like both of those players, we mentioned there's 2 big points now that that Ashton Genty is playing in a conference that is not as competitive. And Sanders is just has a lot of great offensive and defensive weapons.
Yeah.
But so I guess my final question before we transition is going to be, who do y'all ultimately think should get it? Travis Hunter or Ewers for the Longhorns?
Seeing that there's only one team in one team in Texas, University of Texas, and that there's actually only one football team in the entire country, once again, the University of Texas, I think that Quinn Ewers absolutely has the Heisman Trophy pick. I mean, all we need to see is him go. We're only on week 10 right now, and them boys are 7-1. They are the ESPN #1 power ranking pick for 4 weeks in a row. You don't get 4 weeks in a row from those boys at all. I mean, you see they're trashing LSU, they're trashing Ole Miss, and they are still glazing UT consistently. Why? Under the leadership of Quinn Ewers.
So what are your thoughts on that?
By far, like I said, like Travis, just like his ability to like play offense and defensive, like
It's unheard
that
of.
is very unheard of. Like at a college level, like to witness that, I'd be like, I give you props because like it reflects on like Deion Sanders, like how he played and how how Travis like look up to him, like bro, they technically the same thing, but they not related.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So by far, I think Travis Hunter.
And finally, before we transition, who do you believe?
Quinn Ewers.
Oh, there we
Oh
go.
my gosh.
He's the
I'm a
number
Travis
team.
Hunter one. I'm a Travis
I mean-
Hunter believer. I'm sorry, Travis Hunter believer.
Hey,
But talking about
UT baby.
freshmen in professional sports, Bronny James scored his first bucket against the Cavs, his dad's old team. I mean,
yay.
when we think about just how important that game really was, for the sake of basketball, it was a great moment.
Right.
But when we think about it, do y'all believe Bronny James do you believe his spot is warranted, or do you think it's nepotism at the league level?
Nepotism.
Nepotism.
He didn't show it in college.
Exactly.
Explain a little further, because people don't really understand how his college career really panned out.
He had, well, for one, he only had one. He was a one and done. He should have stayed longer, and he should have went to a better school, one that would give him playing time for him to develop and score more points.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Josh?
I think the same thing, just a one and done. Like, how many points was he averaging?
It was below. It was bad. Like I
Like
feel
what?
like it was around 2 to 3 points if we're being generous. But then we also have to understand he is coming off of a heart condition, and that changes players. That changes players like tremendously. When you look at Chris Bosh, for example, Chris Bosh had a blood clot in his heart. He had to stop playing basketball completely.
Right.
When you look at Sharif
Right.
O'Neal, same thing.
Right.
Amazing center for LSU. Becoming. I mean, it's his father.
Right.
His father is Shaquille O'Neal. He's Shaquille O'Neal with a jump shot. But
I think when you bring up the conversation of Bronny James, you really have to realize that LeBron James is a once-in-a-generational talent, right? And to expect his son to be like that, like LeBron James, there have been studies on his muscle density, on his bone density, on just his height. Like he is a once-in-a-generational talent, right? So I totally understand that Bronny has all these eyes on him, that, people feel like, he shouldn't be in this position because, of course he was in the room where it happens. When you can shake the commissioner of the Los Angeles, when you can shake the commissioner's hand of the LA Lakers and be in the room where it happens, of course you're going to get drafted. I mean, everybody personally. You've been practicing with the team, even though you're not on the official practice team. You're LeBron James's son.
yeah,
Right. So it's kind of an expectation for him. So I do want to take the pressure off of him at least and just say, congratulations.
Yeah.
He's made sports history.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
nobody else in NBA history who father-son duo have manned the court together. So where I do agree with you guys, I don't think he was ready. I think he should have spent more time in the D League. I do feel like he did take somebody else's position.
Yeah.
Just that accomplishment in and of itself, we can't glaze over that. We can't pass it up. And once again, LeBron James was a once-in-a-generation talent. This kid has to show who he is. He's Bronny James.
I think that's something very important that people gotta understand. This is still a kid. He's 20 years old. We're all 20 years old.
Absolutely.
Most of us are.
Yeah.
But he's still very relatively young. And I think as time continues, we're gonna see him and his play develop. But we're gonna get into that in another episode of Across the Board. This is another installment of Panther Sports Zone. We've enjoyed you guys staying with us. I've enjoyed this conversation here on the board with my team.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great having you guys. I know y'all are behind the camera, but we're going to wrap up today's show. Like I said, this is Across the Board with Khalid Gray, another installment of Panther Sports Zone, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Peace out.